What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved comedians refuses to play by the rules of late-night television? This is the story of the explosive confrontation between Jim Carrey and Jimmy Kimmel, a moment that left audiences stunned, network executives scrambling, and a legendary comedian escorted off stage. A showdown so raw and unfiltered, it couldn't be kept under wraps. Before we dive in, consider this. Was Jim Carrey out of line, or did he finally say what everyone else was too afraid to? The tension between Carrey and Kimmel didn't begin that night. It had been simmering for years, masked by smiles, laughter, and carefully rehearsed banter. Industry insiders whispered about creative clashes and deep philosophical differences. Still, to the public, they played the part. Late-night host and lovable guest. That illusion shattered the moment Carrey walked into the studio with a look not of levity, but resolve. Crew members noticed it instantly. He wasn't bouncing off walls like usual. There was focus in his eyes, purpose. As one backstage assistant put it, it felt like something was going to happen. You could just tell. Kimmel's team had prepared the usual script, a few softball questions, a funny set story, and a promotional soundbite or two. Nothing controversial, nothing real. But Carrey had made up his mind that this wouldn't be another puppet show performance. Before the show, Kimmel stopped by the green room for their routine pre-show check-in. According to multiple sources, "I'm not doing the usual song and dance tonight, Jimmy," Carrey said. Kimmel, uneasy, pushed back. "Jim, we've got a format. People are tuning in for fun, not a TED Talk." "That's the problem," Carrey replied. "It's all fluff. People deserve better." Tensions rose. Producers urged calm. The countdown to live taping began. On air, Kimmel kept his composure. The monologue landed. The audience laughed. Then came the intro. "He's made us laugh in countless films, and sometimes made us question his sanity. Please welcome Jim Carrey." Carrey entered like he always did, animated, electric, high-fiving the front row. For a moment, the illusion held. The first few questions stuck to the script. Laughter, applause, the usual back and forth. Then Carrey pivoted. "You know, Jimmy," he said, his voice suddenly still, "I've been thinking a lot about the responsibility we have as entertainers, about how we use this platform." Kimmel tried to redirect. "Right. Speaking of platforms, in your new film." "No," Carrey interrupted gently, "let me finish this thought." The crowd quieted. Every night, millions tune into these shows. And what do we give them? Vetted stories, pre-cleared anecdotes. It's not conversation, it's advertising. Kimmel's smile tightened. "That's a little unfair, Jim." "We entertain. We sell," Carrey corrected. "Let's be honest. It's a commercial in disguise." The audience was divided as some clapped, others shifted uncomfortably. At the break, the tension burst. Off camera, Kimmel confronted him. "What the hell are you doing?" "I'm speaking the truth," Carrey said, calm and unbothered. "People are tired of fake. They want something real." "You're hijacking the show." "I'm saying what no one else will." Back on air, things got worse. Carrey leaned forward. "Let's talk about the truth. Let's talk about how everything on this show, every question, every laugh is carefully engineered for virality." Kimmel tried to recover. "We do our best to be genuine, a broken bar." "Do you? Or do you just play genuine?" the audience murmured. Phones began to record. "I've been on this show 7 times. Carrey continued. "And not once have you asked me a real question. Just jokes and setups." "Why?" "Because it fits the machine." Kimmel tried a joke. "Well, this is surprising, a broken bar." "There it is." Carrey shot back. The pivot. Back to the comfort zone. The director signaled for another break. Carrey refused. Let's stay with this. Let's show people what happens when someone goes off script." Kimmel's mask cracked. "Jim, this is my show." "Exactly. Your show, your control, your comfort." "What about the audience?" More cheers. More boos. The room split in half. Kimmel signaled for another break. "Of course you do," Carrey said. "Can't have too much truth, can we?" After the cut, only Kimmel appeared on camera. He addressed the audience coldly. Unfortunately, Jim Carrey had to leave. But Carrey hadn't left. He stepped just out of frame and called out, "I didn't leave. I was asked to." Gasps, applause, phones out everywhere. Kimmel tried damage control. "Jim, we had an agreement number. You had an expectation. I brought a reality check." Security approached. "Ask yourselves," Carrey called out to the audience, "why they're so afraid of unscripted moments. What are they protecting?" "Cut his mic," Kimmel ordered. Carrey shouted without it. "This is about control. This is about a system that silences anyone who speaks outside the lines." As he was escorted out, Carrey made one final remark. "I'm not being kicked out for being disruptive. I'm being kicked out for being honest." Audience members captured every second. Clips flooded social media. Some praised Carrey for his courage. Others called it a stunt. Kimmel's team released a vague statement. "Greater than tonight's broadcast experienced an unexpected disruption." Carrey broke his silence online the next morning. "Greater than last night wasn't about me or Jimmy. It was about the space between truth and entertainment, and who gets to decide where that line is drawn." Kimmel addressed the incident briefly on his next show. "Greater than yes, Jim had strong opinions. I respect that. But this show means a lot to people, and sometimes structure matters." But critics weren't buying it. The contrast between Kimmel's controlled narrative and Carrey's raw emotion was glaring. In the weeks that followed, a ripple effect began. Other hosts experimented with unscripted formats. Audiences started asking harder questions. The curtain had been pulled back, and people couldn't unsee what was behind it. Jim Carrey wasn't just a guest that night. He became a symbol of frustration, of defiance, of authenticity in a world built on polished illusion and late-night television. It was never quite the same again.